Hey, what's up, Knights? How's it going?
Welcome back to your favorite student news broadcast. Today we catch up with the Esports team to see their progress this year.
Not only that, but we'll meet a Higley wrestler and get an inside look at the theater's program adaptation of Frozen the Musical.
Stay tuned, you don't want to miss out on this week's episode of The Studio.
Good morning, Knights. I'm Phoebe Fletcher.
And I'm Bridget Hamilton. Wrestling is a sport that definitely has its ups and downs. Jessica Hunter visited with Jack and Garrett about her journey as a high school wrestler.
Beginning July 2023, the National Federation of State High School Associations will recognize separate weight classes for girls in high school wrestling. That change comes too late for female wrestlers like Jessica Hunter, a senior in her final season at Higley High School. For Jessica, the time to stake her claim as one of the top wrestlers in the state is now.
My name is Jessica Hunter, and I am the third placer for Arizona's All-State Girls Wrestling Tournament. I am a senior, and I have been wrestling about 3.5 years.
Growing up in a family of wrestlers, Jessica felt pressure to follow in the footsteps of her older brothers and sisters.
All of my siblings were wrestlers. I've just been surrounded by it my entire life. I felt this pressure that maybe wrestling was just a thing that I had to do. That's not to say that I didn't enjoy it, but definitely it wasn't something that I felt like I had a choice in.
Even when the desire was there, Jessica still had a greater challenge to overcome.
The biggest challenge that came with wrestling was that once I finally wanted to wrestle, I had such self-doubt, and it was hard to get myself to work and to fight for the things that I wanted because in my mind, I already didn't have them. That was really the most amazing thing about this year's head coach is that every time I started to sink into that feeling of inability, of not being capable, he was able to pull me out of it and convince me that this was something that I wanted, that I am capable of working through the pain that I was feeling.
Head coach Evans has been there from the start, serving as a mentor to Jessica throughout her whole high school wrestling career.
Her desire to wrestle started strong, and then she kind of lost the desire for a while. She stepped away from the sport, which was probably good for her. And then when she came back, she was very focused and very successful. Her determination grew more than anything else that I saw this past year. It far outweighed the changes in skill, but her confidence in herself really was great this year, and that's why she had such a successful season.
There isn't much I regret from wrestling simply because I've grown, and without those mistakes and follies, I wouldn't have become the wrestler that I am now. The biggest thing that I regret is letting myself think that I had to wrestle, that I had to be perfect, that wrestling was about being perfect. Because once I learned that that wasn't the case, it became less of something I dreaded and more of something that I absolutely loved.
With her senior season now at its end, Jessica contemplates a future in the sport she has come to love. She plans to coach at the high school level in the future. With photographer Garrett Osborne, I'm Jack Misselhorn.
Just before break, the varsity football team received their state rings after their big win in the 5A state championship. This was a monumental moment in Higley history since it was the first time ever our football program has won state.
Bring it on! Bring it on! Show me your ring!
Brooklyn and I set out to see what students were up to over this past spring break. Here's what they had to say.
For my senior spring break, I went to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. Over spring break, we went to the Taylor Swift concert. Yeah! Best 3 hours of my life. She sang 44 songs. She sang a bunch of different songs from all of her different albums. It was so cool. I was on the floor. I was in row like 20 or something.
We went on the first night, and so it was like the first of her tour. Like, we were the first people to witness this. Like, every song was like so good. Yeah, I still talk about it, like every day. Like, I freak out. I'm like, I literally saw Taylor Swift.
We went on a choir trip and went to Santa Fe and then Denver. We did a lot of clinics for choir. We went to different colleges around there.
Bus did breakdown for 6 hours.
It was fun.
I played volleyball with a bunch of seniors. Pretty fun. Also played pickleball a lot.
Over spring break, I went to Portugal with my wife. We did 9 days in country. I loved it. And we went to castles, did lots of wonderful seafood meals, checked out a couple museums, did the palace tour. It was a great time.
I went to Japan for 2 weeks. I went to like Tokyo Disney and Universal and all those cool places. Everything there is just like so much cuter, and I feel like they just pay so much more attention to detail.
I went to Costa Rica. I went on a tour and I got to see a bunch of cool animals like monkeys, and we got to ride ATVs on the beach, and I got to go 80 miles per hour.
I went to California, competed in WGI, which is Winter Guard International. We went to Universal Studios, which was really fun. We competed against a bunch of world-class groups. Higley High School is in the top 5 Winter Guards in Arizona, so we got to travel, that was my spring break.
Spring break was like 10 out of 10, yeah.
I would definitely rate it a 10 out of 10. It was so fun.
10 out of 10 for sure.
All around seems like a 10 out of 10 spring break. This has been Phoebe and Brooklyn signing off for the studio.
Prom ticket sales start April 3rd next week at $65 on gofan.go. The prices will rise starting April 4th, so get your ticket soon.
This week, seniors were able to pick up their caps and gowns for graduation, marking an exciting milestone for the graduating class of 23. For the first time in forever, a high school musical theater program is performing a modern classic, Frozen Jr. Spencer and Tyler talked with the producers of the show to find out what we can expect from the performance.
Higley's Musical Theater has been preparing for their performance, Frozen Jr. It took a lot of hard work and effort to produce the show.
My name's Helena Callis and I'm co-directing Frozen Jr.
I'm Danielle Lovett and I'm co-directing Frozen, but I also play Bolda.
Personally, I prepared for the performance by just putting in a lot of extra hours after school, and our cast as a whole has had to put in a lot of extra hours over spring break, and we always work together in class and we try to meet up as much outside of school as we can just to try to bring this production to life.
I've personally prepared with a lot of the more organization aspect, where like making the calendar of what days we're going to be learning all the choreography, learning all the vocals, because a lot of that takes a lot of time and you really need really precise planning because we have very limited time. Like we have usually around 2 to 3 months to actually put on a full production, so we're pretty cramped for time, so we have to make every minute count.
After all their hard work, they're looking forward to the outcome of the show.
I'm looking forward to seeing all the little kids come and just seeing like their favorite characters like Anna, Elsa, Olaf, and just seeing the magic come to light and having them enjoy the show.
I'm honestly really looking forward to see everything come together, because for us it really is last minute, and like seeing everything come together is usually like right before show starts. So I'm really excited to see how all the technical elements come together and how all the actors utilize them, and obviously seeing all the audience come in and watching them see it for the first time. There's no feeling like it. It's honestly great.
Come watch theater and their show, Frozen Jr., happening on March 4th, 5th, and 6th at 6 p.m., with an additional matinee showing on Wednesday at 3 p.m. for all students. This is Spencer and Tyler signing off on The Studio.
With April Fool's Day this Saturday, Cash and I decided to roam the kingdom to hear people's best April Fool's jokes and pranks.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back to our second annual April Fool's segment,
where we ask Knights about their very own April Fool's pranks and jokes.
Hey, what's the best April Fool's joke you've ever done?
It's got to be the time where I saran wrapped the toilet seat and told my mom to use the restroom.
The best April Fool's prank I ever pulled is having a fake mouse to scare my kindergarten teacher.
What's your most favorite April Fool's prank you've ever pulled?
When I was like 8, I went to the cabinet like in my house and took all the food out, so when my parents came home it was like completely empty.
So my sister told me that Michael Jackson was going to be at my school when I was a freshman. That turned out not to be true. I went to school thinking that he was going to be there. Wah, wah, wah.
What's your most favorite April Fool's prank you've ever pulled?
Mine was when I was like 5. I filled a mayonnaise jar with vanilla pudding, and I pranked my dad like I was eating it by the spoonful. Basically, me and my brother were staying in this bungalow, and he had to like climb these ladders to get up, and I put butter on it so that he would fall.
What about yours?
I filled jelly donuts with mayonnaise.
You. And what's yours?
There was this one morning I woke up at like 3, and I put green food coloring in all of my like family's toothpaste. And I woke up and they all had like green gums and green teeth.
What is the best April Fool's prank you've ever pulled?
One time in, I think 5th grade, I just like had this friend that he was like really mean to me. So I locked him in the basement for like a week.
What's the best April Fool's prank you've ever pulled?
I put toothpaste in an Oreo and my sister ate it.
What's your most favorite April Fool's prank you've ever pulled?
A hippopotamus in my room.
You put a hippopotamus? You put a hippopotamus in your room?
Yeah.
I don't have a prank, but one time my friend in 5th grade locked me in a basement.
Better watch out. Seems like these Knights have a trick up their sleeve. This has been Bridget and Cash reporting for The Studio.
Testing season is upon us. Next week, Tuesday through Thursday, April 4th through 6th, all 9th and 11th grade Knights will be participating in mandatory Arizona State assessments. Higley will follow a special 3-day late start bell schedule each day to accommodate for testing. The ACT will be administered to all 11th graders Tuesday morning. The ACT Aspire will be administered to all 9th graders Wednesday and Thursday mornings. And the AZ Science will be administered to all 11th graders Thursday morning.
Do you love video games? Well, if so, the Higley Esports Club is the program for you. Ben and Ryan sat down with the president of the club, Taman Banks, to get the scoop on the competitive gaming scene.
Snooze. What the? You don't need it.
Higley made quite a splash in gaming last year with our well-fought state championship win. Ryan and I caught up with the club president to see how they're following up such a successful season.
I've been playing video games since I was about 5 or 6. And my favorite game I play is Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Wii, except it's a lot more competitive with more skill-based aspects.
Although many think that making a game competitive takes the fun out of the experience, for Taman, it only adds to it.
A competitive atmosphere is fun when you're gaming, makes you try a lot harder in essence.
In gaming, playing as a team also requires moving together as a team to defeat the competition.
The teams all work together by, having good communication. You want to set something up to basically win the game, you have to be communicating with each other and not having any blockages at all. It's like any other sport in that manner.
What many don't realize is that becoming competition ready requires more than just attending club meetings.
Everybody plays at home and they really, get on that grind set and make sure that they're up to par with their technical skills.
The school year is nearly over, but the esports season is yet to be decided.
League of Legends team is going to continue competing in the Playfly and hopefully take down some more schools.
It sounds like the esports team could be on their way to another state championship. This has been Ben and Ryan reporting for The Studio.
That's all we've got for you this week, Knights.
We will be back in 2 weeks to report to you about all things Higley.
Thanks for tuning in and enjoy your weekend.
She lives for me, says she lives for me, ovation. Who won't motivation? She comes round and she goes down on me. And I make you smile like a drug for you. Do ever what you wanna do, coming over you. Keep on smiling, what we got.